Adra is a PMO expert by excellence, recognized severally at international levels. He is taught as a leader and valuable contributor to project management profession. He has delivered several seminars and presentations and workshops for some of most reputable organizations in the region and abroad. Dr. Saadi has 25 years of experience in strategy, enablement, and management consultancy. He has developed methodologies for portfolio project procurement and bricks. He has also managed the initiation of PMOs and has performed organizational project management maturity model, assessments and quality improvement plans for several organizations for that matter. He has sponsored and directed and led PMO and consulting projects in several industries, supervised the implementation and the roadmap for each, and as well as managed the relationships with partners, teams, and clients. Dr. Saadi has delivered hundreds of training courses in project management for professionals in that realm and for program management as well as organizational project management maturity model, including governance and as well as PMO. Not to underestimate him, Dr. Saadi Adra has a project portfolio credential. He is also earned for himself an end value professional credential, and he is also a PMP certified, a program management professional. He is also a PMI risk management professional, and as you would have it, he is also certified as an organizational project management maturity model professional. He is also a winner of the PMI Snyder Award for 2016 and a member of SKEMA Business School in France and an executive MBA member of the advisory team. Shall you help me welcome Dr. Saadi?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy you are still here today, although it's lunchtime. So I'll try to be as quick as possible. To go directly into this presentation, this is actually the result of a research I made for my PhD. And the result topic was investigating the relationship between business development and project management. And the result was the integrated lifecycle management framework. What I noticed, to start from the end, whenever project management and business development can be looked at as marketing, sales, the capacity that brings projects or contracts for the company, or whether they are internal company, the place where we do the feasibility study in the government sector, for example. Whenever these are detached, it hurts the profitability of the organization. And I would like to start with the drama. This is a story for one of the clients I work with. They were very happy because they won a $120 million contract for a gas plant in Africa. Okay, it's an American company which is head in the Eastern Hemisphere is in Dubai. And these people, after they won the contract and they celebrated, the contract went to the integrated projects. My time is over. Okay, now is lunchtime, my time is over. What do you like to do? Would you like us to stop and go to lunch? Because I just started now. So please tell me your time management. I can go ahead? Okay, I'll go ahead. So, I really appreciate your sacrifice, all staying here during lunchtime. So I'll try to be fast. So these people, when they wanted to implement this program, this project, they wanted to do more detailed analysis to come up with a bill of quantity, and project management came up with a cost of $140 million. So in 2 years' time, they will lose $20 million. This is a real story. I'm going to tell you how it ended later on at the end. So actually, when things are managed in silos, we've heard the term silo the first day and the second day every time. Whenever there are silos, there are problems in our projects. And if we're talking about the business development relationship with project management, what should happen is that the people who capture new business and who prepare proposals, they should work upfront with project management in order to come up with proper estimations before they go into a contract. But what goes on normally? Usually, these people work alone, they win a contract, and then project management does not know how to implement it properly, and we end up firing the project manager. Because usually, the business development guy is the nice guy, the CEO loves him because he brings the business to the organization and they do not make mistakes. So the poor project manager is out. Now, in order to analyze the situation, I looked at this matrix and I looked at the success of business development versus project management. So if we look, we are not interested in the failure zone. When both are failed, let the company close down. But if, for example, the project manager succeeds in implementing the business, you have good capacity, but business development are not able to bring new business. What do? The business either closes or we become subcontractors to others who are able to get business, which is another model. Or if business development is so successful in getting a business, but we don't have the capacity to implement, we might subcontract that. Our focus here is whenever both are successful. Business development people are able and capable of getting us new business, and project managers are capable of implementing this business. Okay, and we call this the happy client zone. Why the happy client zone? We promise the client we will deliver from business development, then project management actually delivers, and the client is happy. Now, if the client is happy, does this mean our shareholders are happy? Not necessarily, because shareholders are happy whenever we make profits, okay? You can get the client to be happy without making profits. So to look at the other side, the side of the cost versus the price. If we want to make profit, and this is economy 101, we should have a price which is higher than the cost. But it is not always the case. If within our business the price is lower than the cost, which is the red zone here, okay, this means we are losing money. The company should fall down. Or, for example, our price is high and our cost is high. Maybe we can succeed for a limited time. We're not making that much profit. Also, if both are low, we are interested in the case where the price is high and the cost is what? Low. This is the green zone. This is where the shareholders and the CEO are all happy. We are making profits. So, to lay over the two slides together, let's take the happy shareholder zone and superimpose it into the happy client zone. We wish our company to be in this place. We wish every time we win a project, we are able to implement this project, and we wish every time our price be higher than our cost. And to be in this quadrant, it does not happen by chance or by coincidence or by trial and error. There should be factors that would get us into this, and that was my research. How to be in this zone every time, in every project, in every proposal we do, and every project we implement. And I came up with this research question: what can we do to be in this happy zone? Meaning, what should be the relationship between business development, between project management and top management, these three most important players? What should they do together in order to get the company in that zone? And I did around 3 years of academic research. The good news is that I'm not gonna speak about this. I have another presentation which is on YouTube. You can check it up if you go to my LinkedIn, and you can have a look at it. The final result is the integrated life cycle management framework. I came up to the result that if we wish to get into that zone, we cannot think in terms of silos when it comes to our processes. We cannot think of project management process alone and business development process alone. We need to integrate both and think of organizational process, integrated process from inception until operations. And for this process to succeed, this is the theoretical part, now you'll see the practical. It has success factors. The most important one is governance. Governance, because can you have the business development as the managers of project management? Or vice versa, project managers as the managers of BD? Both most probably are very hard to implement. Each one is a distinct business unit. We have to go upstairs. We have to find and convince top management of implementing an organizational governance system that has a mandate. Everybody works from department to department within the same process. And culture helps a lot. What I found in the Eastern culture, they are ready to collaborate. They know how to collaborate, it's in their blood. Whereas in some of our cultures, we were bred to compete, okay? How can I win if you win? No, I win if you lose. Okay, I don't like this, but this is part of what we have, okay? So the matter of culture really affects. Also the competency. Why the competency? In one of the companies I worked with, the director of project management, PMO, he made an agreement with HR and with top management that every single person in the company, even the accountant, should take a half-day awareness session, 4 hours course on what is a project. So now everybody knows the basics of project management and people start to love project management. Now in one of the companies which is in Africa, okay, I'm gonna mention the case study in a while, the business development guy, he loved the idea. And he came up, everybody should learn half a day in terms of what business development, customer relationship, sales, marketing, etc. When people learn the other language, do they resist? Resistance becomes lower because the fear is lower. And this is a factor to infiltrate an integrated life cycle management framework. Then I looked at knowledge management. And I found out that companies who actually share knowledge, when we want to integrate, it's easy. But if they don't have knowledge management and we are successfully integrating, then knowledge management becomes a byproduct. So it's a two-way relationship. And the final result was a surprise to me. I never saw it in the beginning. How does economical supply and demand affect the relationship between business development and project management inside the company? It's very simple. If you have lots of projects coming, lots of demand, everybody wants to buy from you, who's your hero? The project manager. He's the one who's able to implement. And if he implements, what do you get? You get your revenue and your profit. So he becomes powerful. And vice versa. If the demand is low, who becomes your hero? The business development guy. The one who's gonna get us projects and contracts and get our salaries paid. So this affects, this is the theoretical aspect. We use it to enhance the implementation. But actually, when we want to implement, you don't just implement a theory. You have to be pragmatic and practical. Hence, we worked a lot on the governance aspect to decide in terms of this integrated life cycle management framework within every phase that crosses the boundaries of different business units or connects different silos. Who's accountable? Who is responsible? Who is the process owner for each type? And during my research, I met with Dr. Kerzner. I think most of you have heard about him. He's very famous. And within his project management 2.0, he talked about traditional project life cycle, which is we plan and we deliver. But now, the whole of investment life cycle should include idea generation and project approval, and should include value determination until we realize the benefit and analyze the value. And it happened that we both came to the same result. He came to it through his experience from the top down. He set this model, and I came to it through my research from the bottom up, which I'll show you in a minute. This is the model I came up with, whereby we're talking about organizational project management. And in organizational project management, we're talking about a level which integrates the strategy to the selection of project, which is portfolio management. This portfolio management selects in alignment with the strategy and supervises the health of all the projects or the investments and programs. Below, we have multiple types of projects. We have projects within the pre-authorization, before we sign a contract. Writing a proposal is a project. Doing a campaign for the image of the company is a project. Versus at the end, we have sustainable operations, the ongoing thing. And within, we have programs and projects within a life cycle. And we find within the portfolio two types of organizations. We have permanent structure because business development is unit. It stays there. And operations as a unit, it stays there. What is the temporary organization? The projects and the programs. The more we grow, the more these will grow. We don't have any business, suddenly all the structure is not there. So, one of the sources which are very important, a company called Shipley. Shipley has been there since '72, and they have developed lots of knowledge into coming up with a business development life cycle model that speaks about all the phases from the perspective of a business developer, not a project manager. And I worked with the people who came up with the model, and they have these phases, and they talk about identifying needs until they secure commitment. They talk about investing a lot before an RFP is made, okay? Because once the RFP is there, most of the work, the identification, the justification, the setting of the budget, everything is set before. So, how does this integrate? Within business development life cycle, we find very much similarities to project management life cycle. So we discovered that business developers are project managers, but they don't know it, and they don't call themselves project managers, yet they are project managers, okay? So why not include both within the same life cycle? So we developed this life cycle, which starts by identifying the lead, then immediately it's checking for strategic alignment. And this is a portfolio functionality. Because it is not just following any need, we have to follow the need that would help us in achieving the objectives of the organization. Following, we do an internal evaluation whether or not we want to pursue this, or a feasibility study if it is internal project, or an evaluation if it is a client. Maybe we don't want this client. We do some sort of due diligence. And if we agree, we go to a proposal. Then, if we win this proposal, we get the contract or the authorization. Then, in terms of a program, we might have multiple steps and multiple life cycle steps within different projects within the same program. Then, the interface or the transfer or transition from the programs to operation to achieve the sustained benefits. So all these are integrated together within this integrated organizational project management life cycle. Now, for this to happen, we have to do change management within organizations. When we are taking two life cycles that used to work independently, the first one above, the green one, is the business development. They do capture management, they then write a proposal, and then they negotiate the contract, then they do handover of the contract to project management. After that, they do customer relationship management. This is their life. And their life spans from beginning of before a project starts until after a project finishes. Now, my research started with project management, but I discovered that the answer is portfolio management. Because projects are temporary, but portfolios are not. Portfolios can be there to manage the whole organization, to manage both your supply and demand. My demand projects come from business development by offering proposals and getting business. My supply projects is through implementing my contract successfully. So portfolio management, they do feasibility and strategic alignment, they do estimation and they help proposal management, then they manage the resources, they authorize and sign the charter, and the poor project manager is there to execute. One thing which is a subsidiary note I've seen in this conference and so many conferences, everybody speaks as if project management is the PIM book, and this is a fallacy. The PIM book is about pure project management, which does not exist. If you seek the answers, there is something called a guideline for program management, a guideline for portfolio management, organizational project management maturity model. PMI alone has over 20 different standards and guidelines, and the answer is within all of these, not only in the PIM book. But the PIM book, of course, it contains the ABCs. So, by integrating these two at the strategic, operational, and tactical level, now we want things to happen from a governance perspective. And to explain this, using one simple example, the process of collection of requirement, which you are very much aware of. We have it within the PIM book, and we use it on our projects. How good are requirements if they are collected after we have signed the contract? When should this process start? It should start before signing the contract. It should start very early. So if you look at collect requirement, as soon as we do our feasibility, the green says it should start. And the dark green, when we prepare our quote or proposal, we should have all our requirements ready. Otherwise, you will fall into scope creep later on, or gray areas, and these are the major reason why we have problems, why we exceed budget, or why we exceed time. So this process should start very early, and it starts within project development, which belongs to business development, not to project management. This means either we have to get the project manager to start very early with BD, or we have to teach business development how to do and take ownership and accountability for this process. And what we implemented successfully in multiple sites is that we assembled in one company, in this oil and gas company, they resolved the problem by negotiation with the client. But the CEO assembled 30 directors from 30 countries and said, never again. You are allowed to work in silos. And we assembled all these directors and set the processes and asked this question. Who is the process owner for every process? Process owner. Yes, this is a term used in governance. Not accountable, not responsible. Process owner is the one who writes the process, who maintains the process, who collects the data, who enhances, who does quality assurance, and who provides knowledge management services and teaches all others. This is how we implement a good matrix organization. By setting and identifying process owners, then for implementation, we identify who is accountable and who is responsible. So we sat together for 2 days with these 30 directors and the CEO, and we looked at around 60 processes, much more than what is in the PIM book, because there are other things not covered, like logistics, HSE, etc. And we set the process owner. Now this director, he knows, I'm the owner of this process. Everybody comes to him if they want to learn how to implement it. And now we started to draw the borders between different business units. And everyone knows who owns what. And actually this succeeded in a very, very interesting manner. This same company, after 2 years, they won their first claim for $50 million. They never ever won a claim, okay? Because they implemented these processes successfully. Then, I have 3 case studies. I'm gonna mention them very quickly. One is in the Gulf, which is about municipalities. And when we went there, the problem was silos. Everybody works alone. And we were required to establish a project management office. We were a team of 60, managing a portfolio of around $2.5 billion with 150 contractors and 30 consultants. And the first thing we discovered, when we started to collect the information, we find exactly 3 projects the same, done by 3 business units, and nobody knows. If the project is costing $10 million, they are losing what? 20. They will have to pay one time the $10 million. And this was a problem, plus many, many other problems. We implemented the integration, and in a matter of around 3 to 4 years, actually, we were able to track within the executive dashboard, we implemented a 20% increase in terms of budget, in terms of success on their projects. The second one is the one I spoke about just now in the beginning. By the way, they solved this problem of 120 million. They had it closed because they were in the very beginning. If they want to walk away, they pay 3 million. So the CEO of our oil and gas company called the CEO of that gas plant in Africa, and he told him, I'm coming to you to visit you. He came with his plane with a check of $3 million, and all his directors. The other guy, he went mad. Even if I take the 3 million, for me to do another RFP, okay, and assign another contract, it takes around a year. A year of not producing gas means losses of hundreds of millions of dollars. So no, I don't want your check. What's your price? He said, my price is 160 million. He said, okay, I agree, and this is the 3 million. So they signed for 157 million. The issue was resolved, okay, in an ad hoc manner. But the nice thing is that these people had the insight to look for the causes and say, never again. How can we connect these silos together? And the solution was through the integrated life cycle management framework. The third one is about agro-industry in Africa. And it's a very interesting story because they had this sugar plant. And before they started to do integration, in one of the big sugar plants, there was a small controller for one of the process engineering units. And it happened that the company of that controller closed down. And because it closed down, they could not find the updated software for that controller. And how much did this delay? It delayed the opening of that factory for 1 year. For a component worth tens of thousands of dollars, they lost hundreds of millions. Why did this happen? Because of lack of integration. Within a program, they did not integrate the relationship between the different vendors. They worked with the vendors, each one as an island. And that does not work on big projects and programs. So the integration actually resolved that problem for them using interface management, contractually, functionally, and technically. The bottom line is that the integrated lifecycle management framework is an academically proven and practically method of ending the silo in organization, and its direct impact is to increase profitability. Thank you very much for bearing with me. These are my contacts. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. If you have any question, I'm ready to answer it. And if you are very hungry, please, you can go to lunch. Thank you for staying that much.